What's up, y'all? This is your girl Amanda, and we are back with another episode of Thompson and Stuff. So, um, right now I am using the new Riverside audio equipment, or not equipment, but like um the software. So, I'm still trying to get used to it. So, if you guys are a little shaky of something, if I do something wrong, just forgive me. I'm using this because I think in like 2 months or next month, um, Anchor or podcasters for Spotify is getting rid of the the format that I'm used to using when I record my podcast. So at the end of the day, we have to use the Riverside format. So I'm learning it. I'll probably get it in like 2 tries. Who knows? But yeah, we are back with another episode. So it is the last day of May. So crazy, you guys are gonna get 2 podcasts in 1 month. Sorry, I have been very quiet these past few weeks. We just got off Mother's Day and Memorial Day. Both kind of been a quiet holiday for me and my family. Very recently, probably earlier this month, we found out my grandfather had passed away. So I've been dealing with that. I was a little bummed that he passed away because my dad's parents are both gone. We buried them before I turned 21. And then I had my mom's parents. My grandfather passed away. He was 86, I think. I want to say 86. He had dementia and cancer and all that stuff. So, and the way we found out was just kind of, messed up because my grandfather's birthday is late April, and my mom was trying to get in contact with him, and when very long and betraying story, she called his house early May, and the person who answered, my mom's sister, my aunt. And I'm a little shaky of calling these people aunts and uncles because I don't really know them, and I don't have beef with them. I just don't know them, So the lady or my aunt who answered told her what happened. My mom was like kind of torn up about it, and I had to spend the next couple weeks just watching her be overstimulated and hurt and all that stuff, and that was just not a pretty sight to see. But yeah, I was bummed because he's my grandfather. Even though um I've only had like in 3 interactions with him. I didn't even meet the guy until I was like 8 years old, and I remember the day I met him. Um, my mama was getting me and my brother ready for this get together, and she said, "Yeah, we're gonna meet my dad," and I'm like, "Okay." And me, like, I wish I could just put a clip in that said, "Yeah, what you being messy for?" Because I was 8 years old. I didn't mean to be messy, but I remember asking my mama, "Is Granny gonna, my grandmother, his ex-wife, is gonna be there?" And she's like, "No, it ain't that type of party." So I met my grandfather when I was 8 years old. I've seen him 2 other times. When my auntie was dying, she requested to for my mama to bring my grandfather to her. So I saw him a couple times during that time, and then I didn't see him at all ever again after my auntie's funeral. So, yeah, he passed away early. Oh no, I'm sorry, he didn't pass away. I found it early May. He passed away in March. So, and honestly, I never had the experience of knowing what it was like to have a grandfather. I watch like what's that show? Family Business on BET and Netflix, where Ernie Hudson is like a doting grandfather. Like I never knew what that was like. My dad's dad lived in Michigan until I was like my teenage years, and then they moved him here to Chicago, and I didn't really know about it until like a year later, and then he ended up dying like months after I visited him at his retirement home for the first time. Um, when I was a kid, we used to go up there a lot, but I couldn't be taken out of state after a while, so I didn't see him for years. My grandma Mary died when I was 11, and I don't have a lot of recollection or memories with her because I wasn't really around, but she was a classy woman. I asked my aunt the other day what car she drove. I remember it was a Lexus, and then when she told me that exact like make and model, and I looked it up, I'm like, yeah, she was classy. She was into class. So she was a beautiful woman. She just passed away when I was very young and didn't have a lot of opportunity to get to know her as much as like I do. I know my grandmother, my mother's mother, who practically raised me, and I'd speak to every day, and I go over her house and get on her nerves every time. But so yeah, all I have left is my grandmother, my mother's mother, who again raised me, who was there from the jump, who was there when I was born. So I tell my grandmother all the time, like, you ain't going nowhere. We gonna tape you down to the couch because you can't leave. Can't go anywhere. Nope. 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 No, I don't want to hear about that. No funerals. Blah blah. Nope. Nope. So yeah, my grandfather passed away. Been dealing with that. He didn't have a funeral, so I didn't get a chance to really say goodbye per se. But the only good thing about this is that I got my mom has biologically 13 brothers and sisters, right? So two of them died. I had an uncle I never met that died, and then y'all know my auntie that passed away when I was 21. So there's 11 of them left. So I guess now that kind of opens the door for me to get to know like all my aunties and uncles. I know I got hella cousins to get to know too. So I'm excited about that. I'm always excited to meet cousins and stuff, even though I'm not very sociable. But this is family. I don't know what it's really. I mean, I have uncles because like my dad's sisters, they've been married or they are married, and but I'm not around them every day. I didn't grow up with them like that, and it was somebody's fault, but I'm not gonna I'm not gonna point the fingers right now during this conversation. But I and it put me in a position to learn to like kind of establish those relationships by myself without that support, But yeah, we've been kind of dealing with that, but there's so much going on. I really want to cover really, really quick because I got somewhere to be. It's 3:48 p.m. and I got to be somewhere at like 5:30. So I'm not gonna try to hold y'all long. So let's get into it with this new Riverside thing. I see that I can't put. I don't know if I could put like breaking music like I normally do. So I'm gonna just jump into it. I woke up this morning and I found out Savannah Chrisley is a Trump supporter. This is disturbing to me. I also saw the picture of her and her niece or sister with President Trump, which just kind of disappointed me because, uh, darling, President Trump don't like people like her or me or black people. Like, why would you do that? But then I also read somewhere that she was trying to do this to get her parents' pardon. Um, but President Trump ain't president right now. If you want them pardoned, you would have to take that up with Joe Biden, not Trump. Like, mhm. And you know what? I I could probably be attacked for saying this, but Todd Chrisley don't give Trump supporter. Honestly, he doesn't. Like, he doesn't give Trump supporter. He gives very liberal conservative. Like, he's liberal but he's not conservative to a point where it's annoying. But this is what I'm going off watching Chrisley Knows Best. I like that show. It's a funny show, but now I have to look at Savannah Chrisley different. I used to listen to her podcast, but then after I saw that picture when I woke up this morning, I just went in my Apple podcast and I just unfollowed it because it's disturbing and it's a reach and it's a bad reach, and whoever her PR is should have been like, don't do it. Or, if it's already been done, they should have not posted to the internet for all to see. So I was just very disappointed to see that. And I don't think that's gonna work. What she's doing, the foundation she has by herself is a great foundation that she's using her platform. She's going to court. She's getting the lawyers to talk on our podcast and all that stuff. But then going to Trump, that just kind of blew it. And yeah, it kind of took a turn in a bad direction. All I'm gonna say about that. And you brought your little niece with you, who is black and white. Like, come on now, just not cool. Um, Moving on from that, OJ Simpson got a tax problem, and I want to sit here and I want to tell y'all, I told you so. You know, we as Americans, oddly enough, we pocket watch. We want to know how much this person's house costs, this person, how much they bringing in, and all that stuff. And like I said when I was talking about OJ Simpson's death, how the heck did OJ have an income? Well, still want to know where he got his checks from, but I understand if it wasn't enough or he just wasn't careful with his money because he owes the government posthumously, if I use that word right, $500,000. How is it gonna get paid? I don't know because I'm not even sure if OJ Simpson has an estate because and then we have the Nicole Brown family, and they're waiting to get paid. So with this tax bill and all that stuff, I don't think they're ever gonna see money because one, when OJ was alive, he was very stubborn, and two, now that he's deceased, and I low key want to know how he like stayed afloat because one, he had that beautiful mansion in Las Vegas. Two, if you remember that video, it came out when like Caitlyn Jenner, I think after Caitlyn Jenner said OJ's dead, good riddance, paraphrasing, not the exact quote. There was a video of OJ denying who Caitlyn was, and he was walking to a really nice Chevy truck, or I think it was a GMC, a Chevy or something. It was a really nice truck from General Motors. So those trucks run about 60 to $100,000. So I want to know how he was paying for that. Was it a lease? Was it his to finance and he keeps it after it's paid off? Like, I just want to know how. But at the end of the day, OJ gone, and I don't think that family's getting paid. And then like y'all got to remember, OJ was in jail for like 7 years, so obviously you don't make no money from jail. Just saying. And then didn't he do movies back in the day? I think he did some movies. But then when you do movies nowadays and you get that residual check, it's only like McDonald's money. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna end this with I guess we gonna have to see how this goes because the man is dead. He can't like write checks or nothing. So um, did y'all see that Nick Carter and Aaron Carter documentary? It was 50% shocking and it was 50% of what I already knew, and I was not surprised. Now, the 50% of what I already knew and not surprised is on Aaron's part. Like, we know, I know Aaron was troubled. He had mental health issues. He was huffing and all that stuff. But the Nick Carter thing, I'm just disappointed. And I think I'm now a little bit more awake of what's going on. Um, I don't know if YouTube is being messy. YouTube and TikTok be messy when like documentaries come out and people die and they just bring up old stuff. I was on YouTube last night and the night before, scrolling trying to find something to watch after I had caught up on all my subscriptions. So there are old videos of Nick Carter. He's at home. Well, they're not old. I think there's some from the pandemic. The latest one that came out was from like a couple weeks ago, and he was out. He was on Instagram Live. Being a dad, being a family man, and all that stuff. I don't know if he's releasing these videos to show, hey, I'm a good guy. Okay, yeah, we see you're a good father and all that stuff. But when I watched that documentary and they talked about Nick and how he was doing some horrible, nasty things I don't want to go in detail about. I just look at those videos now as control damage. I think that's the term for it. I'm like, oh my god, this is Nick, the good father, the husband, blah blah blah. I'm not taking away that he's a good father. Like I see that his kids are fed, he's gentle with them, all that stuff. Because we see some of these celebrities with their kids. I mean, sometimes it is recorded, but sometimes it's behind the scenes, and we see this, we hear the stories. But Nick is a great dad, but to me, just a shitty person because this documentary had people on there that went through what they went through with Nick Carter. Um, Melissa Schumann, there was a young lady who was friends with their sister Angel. And then it kind of put Angel in a bad spot too. Like, Angel basically turned on me and said, used her to get to her brother Nick, blah, blah, blah. But that, on Nick's behalf, it was messed up. But on Aaron's behalf, a lot of it was things I already knew. When he passed away, Melanie Martin was on there. She told her side of the story. I didn't do a review, like a YouTube review on it, because I would feel like I would I would have to go into details I don't want to go into, and kind of restate things I already know. But if you want to check it out, the documentary is on HBO Max. Also, I am going to do a video on this documentary. It's the Stax Records documentary, the history of Stax from the time of its inception to the time it shut down. I got to find time to record that video. I have so many YouTube videos to record. It's insane. I'm so backed up on it. But I will do a video on that. But if you want to check out that documentary, if you are an Aaron Carter fan, I must just tell you now, it's things as Aaron Carter fans we already know. You'll just be shocked at Nick's part. That's why I said that they should have just left Aaron out of this because one, he's, gone and he can't speak for himself. And two, it's just I've seen 1,000 Aaron Carter documentaries on YouTube. They all say the same thing. Like they're basically repeating what the next person says. So, but again, HBO Max if you want to check that out. Sean Kingston and his mom was arrested for fraud. His mom was in jail, but she got out. From what I understand, they got arrested for basically ripping off someone and not paying them back. They had like oh, my phone's going off, sorry. They had like movie like production size stuff in their home, and they never returned it. The thing that really like tripped me out was why the heck did they have like a 100 foot tall whatever screen in their house? Like, if you want a screen that big and you don't want to pay a lot of money for it, just go get a projector and put it against a bare wall. And I think with projectors you can like adjust how big you want how big you want your screen. You don't have to have like a AMC theater screen in your house. So they were well, no, the mom was arrested. Sean Kingston was in California, or is in California, and he has to be expedited back to, you know, face the music, if you will. I don't understand because I saw the size of the house again. I'm not trying to pocket watch, and I'm not trying to put the man down, but Sean Kingston hasn't really had a hit since I was in middle school. And how long ago was that? I'm almost 30. And that's why I don't understand some celebrities and why they live above their means, and their house, the Sean Kingston's house was huge, huge. But then I heard that he was renting it. But either or, if you're even renting that size of a house, like, you can go and downgrade. I know he lives in Florida. I know Florida is like getting hella expensive because all these people are moving there to avoid paying state tax, but I'm sure somewhere in that area you live, or for Sean Kingston, not you, but um, there's a place way more affordable, way more easy to maintain besides that big mansion. So we'll see how that plays out. I just don't. I think I don't know. When I was a kid, when a lot of artists came out. A majority of them are still very successful. I want to know who sat and taught Ludacris and who else? Ludacris. I don't know, just all those rappers I grew up listening to, and you look at them now, and they're doing still so well. I need whoever taught Ludacris and them how to how to do money management. They should come back and teach like the new artists that, because one, nobody needs an AMC theater screen in their house, and two, no one needs a house that big when there's not a lot of like money coming in. That's just me. I mean, that's just me trying to save somebody from bankruptcy. Just saying. I'm just saying. Did you guys hear about Graceland getting uh auctioned off and it was fraud and all that stuff? Now, I don't know nothing about Graceland like that, even though a majority of my family is from Memphis. I've never been to Memphis. I've never been to Graceland. But my thing is, Elvis bought Graceland in the 50s. Why the heck is it being auctioned off or foreclosed or whatever 70 something plus years later? There is no such thing as a 70-year mortgage. I'm just saying. But then I heard that Lisa Marie signed some papers or whatever, but it was fraud. And that is such a mess. Why would she? I mean, no, I that makes no sense. And I think overall there's some sort of fraud going on over there on Elvis Presley estate. And thanks to TikTok, I'm kind of sort of seeing what type of person Priscilla really was or really is, because she's still alive. What type of person she really is. So I think there's sort of needs to be some sort of investigation going on at Graceland to keep it running smoothly. But I think at the same time that would cause a rift between Priscilla and Riley Keough. Keough? Keough? Cole? Riley Keough? I don't know how to say her name, but she's an actress. She's also the daughter of Lisa Marie. All I'm gonna say is there just needs to be some sort of investigation, make sure everything's okay. IRS needs to step in, all that stuff. Because once they come in and they can figure everything out, all is well. Because there's no way that house, Elvis owned that house since 1954. I think that's the year. And oh, it's getting auctioned off and going into foreclosure. Almost 70 years later. That just don't make any sense to me at all. At all. Um, so here is the part of the show where we talk about Diddy and how he's been acting up again. Well, not again. He's been acting up. It's just coming out. If you hear any papers or anything, it's my notebook, because for the past couple weeks, 3 weeks, I've been keeping note of everything that Diddy has done or Diddy was involved with. So we gonna be here a while. So get your snacks. Step one. So the video of Diddy beating on Cassie comes out, right? Came out on like the 17th of May. And I saw it for the first time and I was just so disturbed. Because that same thing kind of happened to me. And it kind of brought me to like a space where I don't want to relive this, and I thought I've always gotten over it. And anytime I see that, like, my heart instantly breaks. So there was a video of Diddy, him and Cassie were at some hotel in LA, and Cassie was trying to escape, and she walked out the room. She had her shoes on. No, she didn't have her shoes on. She had her shoes in her hand. She's tiptoeing, basically trying to get out the hotel room. By the time she gets to the elevator, she's putting on her shoes, waiting for the elevator to come. Diddy runs out the room, runs down the hallway, finds her at the elevator, and he starts basically manhandling her, pulling her to the ground, kicking her, stomping her like she is a nobody in the street. Just awful, right? So the video comes out. Probably an hour or so later, celebrities started reacting to the video. Now, Safari He had a tweet reaction and he was like, I've seen this growing up. This is terrible, all that stuff. I saw Bobby Shmurda. Now, Bobby Shmurda didn't tweet nothing. He put out a video. Now, he was angry. I could understand why he was angry, and he was just so vocal and just, I don't want to say animated, but he was really angry, and he expressed his anger to the Diddy video. I couldn't understand what he was really saying because he was kind of using his Jamaican accent, but it was, it was, I agreed with Bobby basically, even though I didn't understand what most of what Bobby was saying, but I still agreed with him. So then here comes all the effects of this video coming out. Number one, Peloton, the bike people. Oh, they said they stopped playing his music, and that's money gone because everybody. I feel like everybody, who can afford one because they're like $1,200, who has a Peloton in their house, and they do that. Though they watch the people on the screen and they do get their work on, and they use music. That's income gone from Diddy. Um, America's Best removed Sean John glasses, but this goes back to Macy's. Macy's don't play. They really don't play when it comes to their brand and who they have in their stores. Because remember when Trump was getting ready to get in office, or he was in office and he was talking all that shit and he was being racist and all that stuff, and Macy's was like, they remember Donald Trump had a suit line or something in Macy's. They dropped him. And I think they dropped Ivanka too, because she had like a clothes and shoe line and she was gone. So, if you mess up with Macy's, ain't no coming back from that. And then again, Sean John, like nobody really wears Sean John these days. Like, I haven't seen a Sean John outfit since Vote or Die in 2004. Like, I think Sean John was just becoming like a time in the past, like G Unit and Apple Bottoms and all that stuff. So, of course, America's Best, Sean John is gone. Um, Alex Fine had to put out a statement, which I totally agree, and I think they should put it on a banner somewhere. A man who hits women is not a real man. Point blank, period. And basically call Diddy not a real man in a nice, nasty way. And that's all. And that was nice, nasty. And to me, nice, nasty is under the spectrum of classy, in my opinion, because you're not being too nasty, but you're still being nice about it. Um, let's see what else. I'm going in different directions here. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is thinking about revoking the city. Mayor Adams, don't think about it, just do it. Because New York City is a legendary city. It has a lot of high wealth status there. And something like this, an abuser and also a manipulator and a hitman caller, I know that doesn't make sense, but y'all know what I'm trying to say, should not have the key and represent your city that you maintain. You know what I mean? So yeah, revoke it. Revoke that. Um, Not hiding in the TMZ video. So there was a video that came out. We all I also just got this news too today. His daughter Chance is getting ready to graduate high school, or is graduating high school, and he's not there. So he chooses to hide from the graduation. But then I understand, because like if he shows up, people are gonna point and take pictures and bother him. So he's in Miami. But when he was in Miami, TMZ spotted him, and I think other people who live in the area too spotted him and just was like, "How you doing? Is everything okay? How's it going? What's going on?" And he responded, and he was taking pictures and just being nice to people, which I just think, bro, this video came out of something you did, which is so hurtful and so shameful, and you smiling and taking pictures and saying, "Love, brother, love, brother, love." Like, dude, what the heck? Like, every time you see him when he's not quote unquote hiding, he's not remorseful. He doesn't look remorseful. You know what I mean? So I just think that that's insane. Um, If you follow Diddy on Instagram, I have not done that in years, by the way. I hadn't followed Diddy all before all of this came out because he was so annoying. He was. But he would send out Happy Mother's Day to I think Kim Porter, his child's mother, Sarah Chapman, and the I don't know her name, but she's the mother of the baby. Sent out a Mother's Day post to them, and I'm like, what the didn't you terrorize these women and you're kind of taunting them through social media, wishing them a happy Mother's Day? Like, what the heck is going on? I know they're the mother of your children, but still, after all the stories that came out of what you did to them, you ought to have some shame and trying to be, play nice, quote unquote. And then I totally forgot during the Lifetime Achievement Award at the BET Awards, what, a couple years ago, couple 3 years ago, and he said, "Shout out to Cassie for getting me through the dark days." Now that we know what we know, it's just sickening. It's sickening. Why did he do that? That's just terrible. Um, I just couldn't. I thought when I first heard it, because I didn't know what I know now, I thought, oh, that's so nice. They might still have be a friendship and post breakup. And nope, he was taunting her, and that was just terrible. Um, the apology video. Y'all swore up and down he was in Bali with Russell Simmons. No, that man was at home in Miami because he has like a beachy type house. So he was home in Miami apologizing. I know he didn't mean what he said. He was only sorry he got caught. He's only sorry because all this backlash is on him. He's only sorry because now all his business ventures is ruined. He's only sorry because Diddy might be on his way to jail because not only does he have this going on, but he also have all those civil suits, all the allegations. And I also heard that this man beat his college girlfriend with a belt. If a grown person, in my opinion, beats another grown person, and to kick it up a notch, this person was in a relationship with him and he beat her with a belt. That's just so sad, sorry, degrading, evil, asinine, just all the words. And he should have been thrown in jail that night, the night he did it. Now, granted, he was not Puffy or Diddy that we know now with the gold records and all that stuff. He was just Sean Combs, a student at Howard University. He should have been arrested that night. Um, I got two more points to make here. Um, Joe Budden and Kelly Price. I'm a fan of the Joe Budden podcast, but when the news came out, I was so disappointed at how the news was discussed on the podcast. But he did wait till the next podcast, and then they did kind of do like a deep dive on it. Um, they did a deep dive on it, and they also brought in like a counselor or something the next episode. Now they were recording in the middle of the episode they were working on when it happened, and Joe went on Spaces or whatever it's called on Twitter, which is like basically Clubhouse, but everybody can get in this time. No shade. But he basically said that, we were recording, um and he touched on it. He did touch on it for 4 minutes, but then he thought, this is not a good enough, you know, section for the podcast. So that's why it got pushed back to the next podcast. The thing is with me, Joe Budden is the owner of the Joe Budden Network, which the Joe Budden podcast is on. I've seen him. I've never missed an episode of the Joe Budden podcast, and I've been listening since I was in college. Joe has received breaking news of different things on other podcasts from the beginning of time, and then he would stop and he would talk about it. What was so different about this time? I like what were you scared to run out of time? Like seen podcasts on YouTube that was almost 3 to 4 hours long, and they were talking about any and everything. So I would think that he should have stopped and maybe did more than 4 minutes, and then kind of elaborated more on it the next episode. Then brought in the domestic violence counselor, and did what they did. But I was just disappointed. But then Joe caught hell from social media. They was still bringing up what he did with Esther Baxter and all that stuff. And then Tahiri stepped in and she talked about her time with him. And, I'm not going to say, I'm on Joe's side with this, but he did. I mean, from what I saw on Twitter, he caught a lot of flack for it. So, but, he brought it over to the next episode. They discussed it. And there was that. I don't think he ever discussed anything else with the Diddy situation on the podcast. Probably did, but the thing with me these days, like for the past couple weeks, I've been listening to like half a podcast and I'm done with it. I really should break that habit. So, but that was Joe Budden, and then Kelly Price. Kelly Price disappointed me so bad. I grew up listening to Kelly Price's music, and she started her response off with a prayer to him, and then basically defended him. Now, maybe it's because he gave her a shot in singing and singing backgrounds and all that stuff, but ma'am, Diddy is guilty as hell. Like, and then who else was, because Kelly Price isn't the only singer that did this. Kalina Harper, who was in Diddy Dirty Money, who was also on Love and Hip Hop, she was defending him, saying, I didn't see any of that, he was cool as hell. Like, okay, that's your experience, but it's a bigger picture, a bigger fish to fry here. Okay. Like, he's trouble. He's trouble. He's in trouble, and he honestly does not deserve to be to be defended by anybody because the proof is right there. Jennifer Lopez, and I wanted to segue into Jennifer Lopez because we all know J Lo was Diddy's ex, and J Lo and Ben Affleck are having problems. And you know what my conspiracy is? Ever since this stuff with Diddy came out and these alleged marriage rumors of her and Ben, I want to say that Ben and J Lo are probably having marriage issues because of the Diddy situation. Maybe J Lo has. I mean, I don't know J Lo, but maybe she does have. Maybe some issues came up where she needs to go to therapy for. I don't know, but it's just kind of weird that those rumors and this situation just came together. They are starting to arrive separately at events. There's a rumor that Ben moved out of the house and is renting $100,000 rental. But on the other hand, if for someone looking in and not not blocking out, but just there could be something else in this. What if they're remodeling their new house? And I mean extensive remodeling to a point where they can't even live in the freaking house. And then, oh, Ben Affleck moved out. Well, Jennifer Lopez probably lives there too part time, but she's in New York and she's probably um, filming a movie. She was on tour, but they canceled it. So honestly, we don't know what's going on. I mean, she don't. I never seen her drive a car, which is weird. So she probably, but then that house is too open for Jennifer Lopez. But we don't know what's going on. That's the trick about media, I tell you. So that's my conspiracy about that. But who knows? Who knows? Um Rest in peace to Sam Art Williams. Name might not sound familiar, but his work is very familiar. So he was the executive producer on a lot of black sitcoms, especially for me growing up in the 90s. He did Fresh Prince, Martin, and Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Um, so rest in peace to him. Rest in peace to Morgan Spurlock. That name might not sound familiar, but if you had health conscious teachers in middle school like I did, and we had to sit and watch Super Size Me, where he ate nothing but McDonald's for like, I think it was 30 days or something. It was a good documentary. Kind of made me cut back on McDonald's a little bit. Mr. Spurlock actually passed away of cancer. And when the first time, I was just like everybody else in it. First time I heard this, I said, "Oh my god, he probably died from cancer from eating McDonald's." No, I think he was alcoholic and had all these other addictions. So, rest in peace to him. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, rest in peace, Bill Walton. He was a basketball legend. He used to do ESPN as a sports analyst. His son is Luke Walton. So if you guys don't remember the heyday of the Lakers, when Kobe Bryant, Matt Barnes, and all them was there, Luke Walton was there. He was so fine, I swear. But rest in peace, Bill Walton. Oh my gosh. And Bill Walton had cancer. He was 71 years old. So rest in peace. Um, Britney Spears. Y'all really pocket watching Britney Spears. That y'all claiming she going broke. I don't think Britney Spears is going broke. Y'all gotta understand, Britney just wrote a book. Music don't really make a lot of money, but uh, she's Britney Spears, so she probably has some sort of publishing deal. The book, perfumes, like I don't know if they still sell them in like the major department stores like Macy's, Dillard's, Bloomingdale's, but I know they sell them in like Marshalls and TJ Maxx and stuff. I think she owns homes. She owned her mother's house. What else? Movies. I bet money she gets residuals from Crossroads. And then she was on some TV shows, so you get residuals from that too. Brittany ain't broke. Maybe she's not making the big superstar world tour money she's used to making, but I'm sure she's not broke because she's still in her house. Hello, she's all right. She just got a lot of y'all just pocket watch too much. That's the problem. Lori Beth Denberg and Dan Snyder. After Quiet on the Set, I could have sworn like Dan Snyder went away. Like I don't know, but Lori Beth Denberg said that Dan Snyder showed her porn and something else about sex that he did. But basically, it's just more proof that he's a pervert and he just needs to fall off the face of the earth, honestly, and never be affiliated with no networks. Don't even work anymore in the city of Hollywood because that was just disgusting. And at the time, Lori Beth Denberg was a kid, probably like late teens or so. Why would you show a teenager porn at that? That's just sickening to me. Just disgusting. I just want to move on from that situation because it's so sensitive. I mean, I think people are still so sensitive from watching Quiet on the Set. So I'm not going to discuss much of that. But I'll move on to this Red Lobster news. So Red Lobster is officially closing restaurants. Luckily, none by me because I still love my Red Lobster. But they did find the culprit of why Red Lobster was closing. It was that freaking endless shrimp. And now that I look back at it, if you eat endless shrimp at Red Lobster, that is very big back of you and unnecessary. Nobody like you'll be at that restaurant for hours, and then they'll start having to put like a time limit on tables. You can only be here for 2 hours to eat, and then you eat and you go because of that. But luckily, they did stop it. Um, and I guess they can make their money again with the regular meals, shrimp meals. You get like 6 shrimp, fries, some broccoli, you get your salad, and you get your biscuits. And then boom, a profit, I think. So yeah. But you know what's crazy? Buffalo Wild Wings is starting this all you can eat wings, and I just hope it's for like an experimental time and not as long as the endless shrimp was because we all saw what happened to Red Lobster. We don't want that to happen to Buffalo Wild Wings. Me personally, I like going to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch like games and stuff. The food is good. When you sit down and eat, the food tastes better than what it does when you get it delivered or you take it to go. In my opinion. and I have my garlic parm wings, my fries, my salad. A game is on probably. They don't close till like 1 o'clock in the morning, which is awesome because when before, well, maybe before I had a car and all that stuff, me and my best friend, we would go to the mall, and we wanted to find a hangout spot because we didn't really go downtown like that. And then once we once time passed, we did, and we went to clubs and stuff downtown. But this was like a little bit after college. We didn't want to go home. We'd probably go shopping and all that stuff and go see a movie. But no, we gonna go to Buffalo Wild Wings, get some wings, watch Sports Center on the big screen TV, and then I just hope that they don't go under a float like Red Lobster did. And then if they, God forbid, if they do, that should be like a blueprint for other restaurants to say, okay, maybe we shouldn't do this all you can eat situation because you have to pay for like the quadruple amount of supply of chicken wings and shrimp and other stuff. So no, that's not a good idea. Shawnee Henderson. Shawnee Henderson said she wasn't sure if she was in love with Shaq, and then she turned around and said it was taken out of context. I think Shawnee was in love with Shaq when they were married. Now, if you guys remember the Shaq episode of Cribs, and they looked so cute together, and they had great chemistry. They were in love. But once Shaq started cheating and all that stuff, you fall out of love. And I think that's what she meant to. I think that's what she meant, and she kind of had to um, go back and repeat. Not repeat, but like kind of elaborate. And she meant that. But I see that they're still great friends, even though Shawnee is married to Pastor Keon, and Pastor Keon is so awesome, and he's a great pastor. Like me, when I was a kid, I went to Baptist church and I went to Catholic church, right? Either or, either religion, I was still so confused about what the heck the pastors were talking about. Then there's pastors like Pastor Keon and Israel Houghton, where they make it where it's cool. Well, I'm sorry, Israel Houghton, Pastor Keon, and Lecrae. I don't know if he's really a pastor, but he really gets the message to me too in a way I can understand. But those three gentlemen, like, it's cool, it's all right. And Pastor Keon, I follow on TikTok. His messages and his teachings is like to a point where I can understand in my mindset. Um, I guess like when I was in church, everything was so Old Testament. So Pastor Keon, Israel Houghton, and Lecrae are New Testament to me. so, um, he's like awesome, and he also kept it real. Did y'all remember that story where the lady was kind of tripping? I mean, not tripping, but she was catching the Holy Ghost in church, and Pastor Keon had to like kind of put her in her place, and he said that she was doing it for years. Now, Pastor Key, I just want to know, where were you? Probably 1999. I was at this church with my grandmother, and this lady, she must have caught the Holy Ghost or something, and she was slobbering and drooling, and people had to get her to her seat, and her shoes came off. I was four and I didn't understand. I just wanted somebody to please just calm her down. So I I think we need more of Pastor Keon's in the church, because that I don't know. I was four. I'm almost 30, and that's still etched in my memory. Like, what the hell? What the hell? But yeah, let me scratch it off my list, because I was sure was about to go back to the topic, be like, y'all remember when Pastor Cam? But no, I could just bring that in with the situation with Shawnee. Um, did y'all see Cat Williams' new comedy special on Netflix? Okay, so I still didn't like it as in 5 out of 5, but I did chuckle here and there. So that was a step up from the last comedy special that I watched. Um, That was yeah. I mean, because the last one he put out on Netflix, I was just staring at the TV like crickets. This isn't funny. I don't like this. This is not funny. But yeah, like it was okay. I wouldn't watch it again. So, but the roast of Tom Brady was hilarious. I loved it. So it was live. They recorded it live. I didn't catch it live. I watched the encore presentation. So obviously that meant things were edited, like people booing Kim Kardashian and all that stuff. But honestly, I look Tom Brady is kind of handsome, even though like I didn't like Tom Brady for years because when he would play the Steelers, they would always lose. The Steelers would always lose to Tom Brady and them, and then one year, the Steelers were in the playoffs, and the whoever Tom Brady was playing for at the time eliminated them. So I had some beef with Tom Brady, but once I see him now as he retired, he handsome and he be acting real thottish on Instagram ever since he got a divorce. Like he been taking pictures in his underwear, so he ain't got no decorum. So yeah. I look at him different. I don't dislike him as much now that he's retired and people made fun and Tom laughed and Gronkowski was there. People picked on him. It was a really good roast. Like I've never watched a roast, so I didn't know the format of it. Like back in the day, like Comedy Central had those roast of Pamela Anderson, roast of Flavor Flav, roast of Donald Trump. I never really paid attention to those, so I never knew what it was like. You know what I mean? So I guess and Netflix did a great job. It was live. Nobody had to, miss to watch because they don't have cable. It was on Netflix, so it was still good. Now I see why like Netflix is raising their prices because honestly, it's the quality of the content coming out, and you gotta pay big money. Like you gotta pay big money for Tom Brady because he got a nice house in Florida now. He gotta pay for. Just saying. In Real Housewives of Beverly Hills news, PK, PK, PK and Dorit are separated. And I think it is PK's fault because he was kind of mean to Dorit during her time of, her PTSD and being involved in the robbery and stuff. And then when she needed him most, he was in London. And yeah, that you kind of saw it in the last season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, like, you know, Dorit basically saying, I need him here, I need him here, I need him here, and he was in London. Like, I was like, it's not surprising because she needed him. They love each other, but she needed him. So we'll see how next season plays out, how it plays off next season. Um, Speaking of separated couples, Mauricio done moved out the house. Him and Kyle share that he got a condo somewhere in Hollywood. Um, I think they should just hurry up. I mean, not hurry up. Like, I think it's time for them to divorce. Because if he moves out the home, then who knows when Mauricio's coming back? That I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I don't know if I reported this on the last episode. Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber are pregnant. hmm hmm Y'all remember when Justin Bieber was crying? Maybe he just found out she was pregnant. That's why he was crying. And I see why people keep their pregnancies like quiet now because folk are so judgy. And then when it comes to Justin and Haley, they always spreading rumors about them divorcing and breaking up and stuff. And of course, that could be stressful to a pregnant woman. So I'm glad. And then her father, Haley's father, was like, "Pray for them. Just say pray for them to have a healthy pregnancy next time." You know, or not straight out say it because some people are very guarded about that. Just say pray for her health or what's going on. Just don't say pray for her like they're gonna break up. In my opinion. Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie have a new show coming out. I haven't heard any details about it. I hope it's not like a simple life type show because honestly, who has time to do all that now that they got kids and husbands and families? I hope it's just a behind the scenes reality show of them running their empires and working and stuff just to show the viewers that their life has done a 180 because they used to I want to say act up on Simple Life, but I never really saw an episode. I remember, well, I've seen clips. Like, I remember one time, I think either Paris or Nicole asked, "What is Walmart?" And I'm sure nowadays Nicole lives in Walmart. So I just can't wait to see that. I'll probably pay attention to this show since they are a little bit more older and mature, you know? And here's some news that really bothered me and upset me. So, in the car industry, um, the Malibus are being retired. So, I know some of you guys are like, what's the big deal? Well, the Malibus have been around since probably the 60s or 70s. I drive a Malibu. I drive a 2015. An awesome car. You don't have to pay a lot of money to maintain it. I've never paid more than $130 for an oil change. The highest I've paid for oil change is 123 because they probably replaced something and I didn't know. But averagely, I pay about $82 for an oil change. Very easy car to maintain, smooth ride. Um, yeah, it's an awesome car. My car is almost 10 years old. I'm at 85,000 miles and it runs awesomely. Just saying. But they're going to stop production on them next year, um, which kind of is all right, I guess. I mean, I drive a 2015. I'm probably rolling around with 2024 parts in my car anyway, and the parts will be cheaper. It's cool. It's cool, but they're making room for EV cars. I know they have like the Volt EV. They don't really make those anymore, but they still exist. They have the Spark EV. They have the Bolt with a B. I said Volt with a V, but Bolt with a B. They have Bolt. They're going to have EV Blazers. They have the pickup trucks, so they're focusing on the pickup trucks too. So the Malibu is just kind of being phased out. I'll probably upgrade my Malibu sometime later because the cars are going to be discounted cheap when it's done and discontinued. So I'm sad about it, but I'm also excited to see um, the progression of the Chevrolet cars. Now, as long as it's not like the situation with GMC Hummers and the Cybertrucks, it's all to the good because I'm still seeing recall notifications on Cybertrucks. I haven't seen a Cybertruck on the road since that one time I saw it on the road. So hopefully everything's okay with Tesla. But we'll see how this goes. Um, Another thing that's really concerning me, which is kind of old, um, they were canceling college ceremonies due to the protests. This goes back to me complaining about the time where they were protesting at the airport. Um, People just need to pick the right place to protest, and please don't ruin it for others. But then I also read on a I read or I saw on Instagram or TikTok that Joe Biden was speaking at Morehouse graduation and people were walking out. I kind of give them credit because they weren't like balking at him and then walking out. They just walked out. It was peaceful in a way. I don't know if they got their diplomas or not. If anybody could tell me if they still did, but they just walked out peacefully. So um, yeah, just again, you could protest, but just choose wisely where you protest and don't have it to be a consequence of others. That's just my stance. Let's see, college. Route 21 is filing for bankruptcy and closing, which makes me so sad. I love Route 21. I love Forever 21. But Route 21, back in its quote unquote heyday, you would go in the back of the store. Now, Route 21's clothes were already cheap, but if you go in the back of the store, you could find like cheaper clearance clothes, clearance underwear, clearance bras. Like I got some underwear from Route 21 I bought like years ago. Um, I have a Camaro jacket I found at Route 21 for like $12. I haven't had a chance to go check out the sales now, but I just know, like, oh my God, it's so awesome there. You can find like great deals. But I'm sad they're closing. But they said that the CEO was at freaking Kentucky Derby living his best life. And then all of a sudden, higher ups at the stores get emails saying, basically we ran out of money, we're filing for bankruptcy, stores are closing. I just hate that. That's why I don't work retail anymore, because I don't like the last minuteness of stores closing like that. And people are on TikTok saying, "Oh, I haven't been paid yet. I haven't got my check. I'm out of a job." Like, the way that they did it was so disorganized. So yeah, Route 21 is having a sale on a bunch of stuff, cute stuff, but the people who work there are gonna have to scramble to find jobs, and that sucks. And I hope they get their unemployment insurance, all that stuff. But so yeah, that's going on. I think some stores are still open and still having their sales. So hopefully, if my money get back together by the end of the summer, I could go to a Route 21 and like buy like a crumb or something. I don't know. But lastly, Tiffany Haddish. Every time I hear a story about Tiffany Haddish, I kind of become less and less of a fan. With this story, it kind of killed me. Tiffany Haddish, she investigates her haters online, which basically means she does background checks and she uses fake names to get at them and all that stuff. And at the end of the day, that shows me that Tiffany Haddish really does not have anything to do with her life, but besides harass people. Like, you're a celebrity, you're gonna have haters, you know? What can you do? You don't see Beyonce on Instagram when somebody says they don't like her shoes that she wore to her concert. Like, she's not clapping back at them because she don't have time. Just saying. But yeah, that's another episode of Thompson and Stuff. I thank y'all so much for listening. Um, as always, numbers are still growing, support is still growing. I got listeners now in Minnesota. So hi, Minnesota. You can listen to all the old episodes on your favorite podcast platform. You can follow me on YouTube if you don't like to listen. Well, either way, I don't have face video, so if you like to listen on the Apple platform, Spotify, all that stuff, you can. But if you are a YouTube person and you just want it on in the background on your TV or whatever, you can. I'm on YouTube too. Um, More videos coming. I am writing another book. I wrote one. I'm working on another one, so that way I have a couple things to work on towards the end of the year. Y'all be safe out there. Tomorrow is the first day of June. Get your biker shorts and your short shorts out. And oh, and it's Friday, so enjoy the weekend. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.